ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you into 2024. Starting off with a banger with this one. Saltburn. Saltburn, a highly requested movie to watch. Many friends, many co-workers, many colleagues, companions, compatriots have been telling us to watch this movie. Came out on Amazon Prime. Yeah, Amazon Prime, I believe. In around the Christmas time, and we have a lot to talk about here. We have a lot to talk about. I had the, as some would say, pleasure to go see this in the cinema, and I have to say, it is a fever dream of a movie. This movie, folks, is a fever dream. Best way to describe it. I left the cinema gobsmacked, enraged at the people in front of me, a little bit enthralled by certain members which popped up on the screen, and
oh Jesus, members,
and fully engrossed in all the little Easter eggs, all the little bits which Saltburn has to offer, because it really does give viewers a lot for the eyes to see. It is alright. Enough big jokes aside here. This movie, folks, we have between the two of us a few mixed reviews on it. We watched it fully, watched it together. I watched it in the cinema with one of my partners. One of my partners.
What are your many partners?
Hey, now hold on a minute now, folks. Hold on a minute.
You said it. You said it, not me. You said it. You said it yourself. One of your partners.
For those of you who don't know at home, I am a trisexual. You know, I try everything once.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
This time I said, you know, I'll bring her out to see Barry Cowan's knob, and like, it did not disappoint.
Yeah. Her or yourself?
No. She left happy as well, and I just had to say mine's a little bigger. Just don't measure them.
Yeah, don't keep score.
Right. Time to get back on the business here. Back on business. This movie, folks, I believe it is GFB. Good for business. This movie, for I believe it's 2 hours long. Just below 2 hours.
Just over 2 hours.
Just over 2 hours, is it?
2 hours.
Oh, credits all. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But 2 hour 15 movie. Like, I have to say, I enjoyed what I had to offer. For a standalone movie, which will never get a sequel.
Well, yeah.
Or but
if there's a sequel to this, it'll be a joke. I'll tell you that. I'll be writing. If there's a sequel to this.
It's funny. We'll talk about it a bit later, but yeah, no. One of the questions I was asking work was, "Oh, do you think there'll be a Saltburn sequel?" I was like, "Did you even watch the movie? Did you even watch the movie, bro?" I hate to be condescending upon people.
No, I hate no. It's the landscape of filmography nowadays, of the sequels and the universes. But I swear, there's got to be a Saltburn universe. I'm gonna scream. I don't think there will be. I've seen what the director's pumped out his other works, and that's not his style. Her style, actually.
Her style, yeah.
Yeah, her style to be doing this. Every movie is its own thing. But...
Which, as it really well should be for this movie, because there is absolutely no story left to give. Like, the main character, it was a very linear. As some would say, linear plot. It was a very somewhat linear plot.
Yeah.
The story started and ended all within the 2 hour space. There was nothing more this movie can give. As far as sequels, there's not even a spin-off which can be given, because most of the characters are already resolved. All their arcs are resolved, bar one character maybe. And there is no possible way he will get his own movie, because he wasn't that prominent of a character. And we'll talk about him in a bit. Because I do believe with a movie like this, because it has such a small, concentrated cast, we very well could just talk about each character.
I did just kind of forget about that character just now. I didn't even think about that.
Exactly.
That's
He's just
that's a big plot hole. That's a big plot hole in my opinion. Maybe not plot hole, but unresolved. Like it's a loose end. We'll get on to that in a sec. But I think you want to go characters one by one.
I feel like for
There's
now,
five. There's five of
what we
them.
should do is we should talk about our feelings for the movie as a whole.
Alright.
Then we talk about the characters. Then we talk about public perception of this movie. Man, no, because there's a lot of people. There is people talking about this movie, and I'm not gonna say that annoys me because I'm not gonna be like that. 2024, new me. I'm not gonna be like that anymore.
But
I'm not gonna judge people.
it is one of those movies that people go, oh, you see Saltburn? Yeah. Oh, it's so good, isn't it? Oh yeah, I love the meaning behind it, and I love all these different unique shit. It's like, yeah, it's a decent movie. It's a good movie. It's a pretty good movie, I'd say. Well, it's not a great movie.
Yeah.
There are flaws to it, and people will treat it like the holy goddamn grail, you know.
See, because this is Saltburn as a movie is people's first interaction to what I would consider black comedy. This movie is,
but not only black comedy, but also just more indie movies.
yeah, it's very much an indie standalone movie, and not many people are very engrossed in that. It's a very franchise movie experience. Like you go to the cinema these days, you're technically either going to go see a sequel, a prequel, you're going to go see a spin-off, you're going to go see something. Like I feel like 2023 had a lot of sequels.
Yes,
had a lot of prequels.
Something related to a brand. Now we're gonna get that a lot with the success of Barbie. We're gonna get so many brand movies in the next 5 years.
Like movies this year, like there was very few like rare like exceptions. Like Oppenheimer, seriously good movie, and look, you can see at the Golden Globes it won like 6 awards.
Yeah,
and that's because of the quality of the movie itself. But like a lot, like 2023 had a lot of sequels, a lot of prequels, and I feel like people when they were like introduced to Saltburn, you know, they didn't do well domestically, didn't do well at all actually.
20 million in total, which is one of the worst box offices of anything ever. Like that's that's incomparable. Like it's an indie movie, so you can say that, but also the actor. I mean, it's a star-studded cast, but it's got some decent actors in there. Barry Keoghan, Rosamund Pike, a couple others. Like it's enough money, you know. So
yeah, no, they definitely got a good few people in it now. They got like, Jacob Elordi is like a heartthrob in American pop culture right now. He is like he will be. I'm telling you now, he will be like the guy to get for movies.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be in that Priscilla, which is coming out the 26th. He's gonna be like he will be in movies. You can see it for the next 5 years. He's gonna be there. He'll be not the new Tom Holland, but he'll be something along the lines of it. You know?
Yeah.
He won't be on that success level, of course. I don't think. But
No. But if you look at it, you're right. He's in Kissing Booth 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, as you said, he played.
No, he's in Euphoria. He's in. Like Euphoria was a very popular show.
Euphoria, and that's still not over. Right? That's still going.
Yeah, that's still going now. You have
he's gonna be huge.
In Euphoria, he's playing these indie movies. He's making his way up as an actor. Like you can definitely see him going somewhere.
I mentioned this. He's very Robert Pattinson-esque. I mean, even like movie wise as well. Robert Pattinson did a lot of weird movies alongside Twilight and his very typical ones, you know. He did a whole movie I'm not even talking about The Lighthouse, which is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen in my life. He did a movie back in the day, which is it's like this kind of thriller in these offices, and at the very end, it's revealed that they're in the two twin towers, and then he gets killed in 9/11.
This movie sounds very familiar.
It's called Remember Me. It's a rom-com, and then at the very end, he gets killed in 9/11.
I have seen this fucking movie.
Well, like you never.
That has Pierce Brosnan in it. It has Pierce Brosnan in it.
It does. And by the way, that movie made 50 million in the box office, so more than double than Saltburn.
Dear God. Dear God.
Oh. But, Yeah, alright, I'll just give my 2 cents about the movie. Overall, it was a really good movie, I have to say. Like, it was a decent thriller. It got some good mysteries. Great, maybe not great. It's really good cinematography and direction. Certain shots are really nice, aesthetically pleasing. Even though the movie is definitely it's voyeuristic, you have to instantly note that it's shot in a very weird deliberate aspect ratio of 11. It's 1:33:1. So basically, there's two black bars vertically on the side, making it was done so it's you feel like you're peeping in, quote unquote, on the characters, which is very thematic. I thought it was good. I didn't take away from my viewing experience, but I will say I will have to instantly compare this movie to the talented Mr. Ripley, which came out in the early 2000s with Matt Damon, and I love that movie. So I'm comparing it, and I am biased, but this movie hits very similar story beats of a character who is socially awkward but has certain talents, and he meets this rich guy and starts hanging out with him, not on purpose to be, what we think, not on purpose to be weird, and then slowly falls literally in love with him, both physically, mentally, sexually, and then bad things happen. People start killing each other, and it escalates. What I will say in this movie, I wasn't the biggest fan of is I felt like there's a lack of tension. Like there are scenes that are shocking, that are very weird, but I wouldn't say they're tense. I was never on the edge of my seat. I was never thinking, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? Even when like people are dying and you had no idea what's going on, I was never on the edge of my seat. I was kind of like, yeah. I'm not saying it was predictable, even though sometimes it is. It's not necessarily predictable. I was not really tense in a thriller, which is it's a bit weird, to be honest. I will have to say the acting is phenomenal. From everyone puts in a really good spiel. We'll talk about them in the characters later. But I do want to talk about the big thing, the big twist, the big reveal that happens at the end, which is that Barry Keoghan's character, the afraid and meek and weird Oliver, I forgot his name. He actually orchestrated all the killings, which I thought, well, that's great, really good, very interesting. I don't know if he mentioned the father, I didn't quite catch that, but Rosamund Pike, Jacob Elordi's character, Felix, and his sister, he subtly nudged them or actually killed them, depending on the character. I thought that was really good. But then he dramatically reveals that from the very start he saw them as prey. And when he first saw Felix, he put the thumbtack in the bike so that they would meet. And from the very start he wanted to take advantage of them. Which to me really messes with the whole meaning of the movie, which they've been trying to show or convey. Which is that Saltburn has this effect on Oliver. And I know there are different arguments to say that, it could be interpreted as this, or it could be interpreted as that, what he actually said. And I do kind of agree with that. But the fact that we need to have these discussions on the interpretation of this one sentence that he says, which kind of derails a lot of not the emotional impact, because it's still an emotional scene, but it does derail the message that the movie's trying to send about how Saltburn twisted and corrupted his mind, and how it's almost like, as you said, a fever dream, which sucks everyone in, and everyone wants to be there, and no one wants to leave Saltburn. And now all of a sudden, he always intended to do this. It's a bit of a slap in the face, to be honest, from an otherwise really good movie. So I do want you to keep in mind that when we're talking about this, personally anyway, all the praise I'd give, I can't put it like above an 8.58, just because I feel like it misses a fairly simple almost story beat, which could have easily been like altered. It doesn't take any effort. He just doesn't even have to say that sentence. I just kind of, and he really emphasized it as well. I was pretty disappointed with that, to be honest.
No, you see, I feel like you are right and you are correct in saying that it is a slap in the face for viewers, because they don't necessarily emphasize that his main goal and ambition is to manipulate the Cattons, like the name of the Saltburn family, to manipulate the Cattons and then taking the house. They never say that that's what he wants. but they do express him as a moth in the film.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. But that is the illusion of Saltburn. My issue is that from the start, from college, he saw them as prey. From the start, he wanted to take advantage of them, which is like.
See, no, but I can understand that as in like he wants friends, he wants cool
Yeah.
friends. He sees this group. Bear in mind, we see him like voyeuristic yet again. We see him peeping out upon this group, and he spots Jacob Elordi's character, and he's the center of attention. All the girls are talking to him. He's dressed in these cool clothes. Everybody's dressed all nice and cool. But he is just kind of like you can see him. He looks innocent and feeble. He's wearing the nerdy clothes, and he's getting slagged for his appearance, and he doesn't know what to do. And he sees this group, and he thinks to himself, "That's what I want."
Yeah.
And eventually, this manifested over time into thinking, Saltburn is where I need to be. Saltburn is what I want, because he has the moth mindset. He sees the faint dim light from across the courtyard, and he thinks, I want that light. So he starts, encompassing around it, swallowing it, and then he gets invited to Saltburn, and I think that's supposed to present itself as an even bigger light. So much so that he gets trapped in the maze of Saltburn, and he doesn't want to leave the light he's after finding. Like, that's the way I interpreted the movie. I interpreted that, they are trying to, like, pin him as Jacob Elordi's character's sister. What's her name? Venetia. Venetia says it.
Yeah.
She says, you are a moth, and you're just batting at the window. You could say he was doing that from the very start, when he's looking through the window. He has his face pressed against the window, watching out at Jacob Elordi's character. Watching out at Felix, thinking, this is what I want. Let me in,
Yeah.
And it is funny because they use like the same lines over and over again in the movie. Like when when Felix's character is in the king's arms, and you can see Oliver watching from outside, and he's batting his head against the window.
Yeah.
And then literally 2 minutes after that, it's Felix's girlfriend who goes, well, won't you let me in? You can tell characters, they surround themselves by Felix's light, and they try to use them, like they try to use it for their own sake. Like they said it, like with a character who was supposed to be Felix's friend before, like for the summer before.
Yeah.
And Venetia said, you're so much better than last year's one.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like describing Oliver as a moth, and the fact that his, like, I don't know, hunger manifested into just wanting Saltburn makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense. I don't believe that one line should constitute the entire theme of the plot.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like that either. I like if the plot, kind of like similar to Seven, or similar to, I'm trying to think, like Silence of the Lambs, or like an intellectual movie.
Yeah.
Where the plot is in front of you, and then it shows all the hints it's laid along the way. Just saying that Oliver's character is a moth doesn't necessarily constitute it for me either.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like going to the Silence of the Lambs and it's like, oh, no, fucking. He's told lambs is the answer or some bullshit, or it's like, oh, you have to read into this one line which is said, and that's how you get the movie. That's kind of stupid because it
No,
creates
I agree with that. I just think, look, obviously, look, it was just my issue is it's such in such an important scene, in such an important thing, he drops this big reveal, and then they show. It's like he just says it. Like they show the backstory, they show him doing this and that. I do think. Look, as I will say though, I do think it is still a good movie, and I would watch it again. I don't know if I'd sit down and vehemently recommend it, but I wouldn't mind watching it again at some point. But I also would watch other movies before this one.
I know, I would as well. Personally speaking, like, once you see this movie once, you can go ahead and watch it a second time. I watched it twice within the space of 2 weeks. Actually, was it 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was roughly around 2
Yeah.
weeks. I watched it twice in the space of 2 weeks. I wouldn't watch it again now for another year.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a year. I'd say even more. I'd say more than a year. Like, you'd have to fully forget the story in order to jump back to the Saltburn and enjoy it. Like, this is not a rewatchable movie. This is not something you can put on in your free time. Like, you need to actually be, like, not ready to watch Saltburn, but you need to be like,
You need to be
I
in the
don't know.
zone. Like, it is a movie you need to pay attention to. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just sit there. It's not Mission Impossible. You can't just throw it on because you'll be like, what the fuck's going on? You'll be so confused.
Yeah, this is not a film for movie, folks.
No,
This is
God,
not
no.
a film for. This is not a Friday night film for movie. This is more like Sky Movies Premiere 1.
Well, this is a Prime Video, movie. It is what it is. I think we should go on to the characters.
I think it's time to go on to arcs as well. And look, folks, full spoilers ahead.
Oh,
Full spoilers.
no spoilers. No, we definitely didn't spoil the fact that he killed them all and did this. No, God, no. We'll never talk about it.
Look, full spoilers ahead.
We already spoiled the whole movie, bro.
Full spoilers ahead, folks. Full spoilers ahead. Full spoilers ahead. Doesn't matter. We gotta give the warning. Folks,
We should have gave it. We should have gave it before we spoiled the entire movie.
Yeah, but you can tell somebody the ending of something, and you don't tell them the process, and they'll be like, "Oh, I still want to watch it."
We just. But, sure.
Look, full spoilers. Even if it's not needed at this stage.
Spoiler warning.
Spoilers.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. Right. I believe we leave Oliver's character to last.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we should cut out the fodder and talk about two characters in this movie who don't really do much and are there more as like a tool for character growth and like a tool for showcase. And that would be the father and Farley.
Yeah, the father definitely doesn't do anything until the end. Which is funny because he's never really shown as like a guy with spine or backbone until like the very end, which is a bit weird,
Even at the very end though, he's still not shown much backbone.
Oh yeah, like Oliver could have like stayed, you know what I mean? Like he could have.
Like the dad was trying to, like he was basically telling him, "You have to leave my home," and he was like, "Are you sure that's what Espit wants?" And the dad was like,
I don't think so. Yeah, please.
See, the dad was very like manipulable. Like you could tell he's very manipulable.
Yeah.
He's very simple-minded as well. He's ultra rich. He doesn't know any better. That's the problem. I feel like the whole family, the whole Catton family, lives by this, and they do like express this in movies. Well, they live by this like prey mindset. It's like they never have to worry about anything. They're like bunnies in a field, you know. They never have to worry about a natural predator. They never have to worry about anyone taking advantage of them because they already give. They give and they have more than enough. Farley is considered like, a predator. He's considered like a leech. He just sucks off them whenever they want, but they're a full-grown body. They don't care about the loss of blood from Farley. Like he can go off and get suck off all the professors and get expelled from every college in the UK. They'll still pay for him because who cares?
Yeah, I think I do want to talk about Farley because I think he was. I think he was good for what I think he served the role. He served very well. I did literally only realize now though what happens to Farley. He just fucks off.
No, so for Farley's character, he was exiled from the family.
Yeah, but he comes back in the big party.
No. So what happened was
he's stuck in. He's stuck in.
We'll go through Farley's full character arc. We'll go through his first. So Farley at the beginning is best friends with Felix pretty much because they're cousins. We don't realize Farley's only friends with him because Felix is the cash cow.
Yeah.
So he's hovering around Felix. He's like the original moth. Yeah. He's hovering around Felix, hovering around his friends and all that because money. He pays for my tuition. He pays for this. He pays for that for me. Farley's just clearly using him.
Yeah.
And he's having fun using him as well. Felix has to go off and go to the pub every night. He doesn't give a shit about anything. Farley can live that same lifestyle. He can show up 20 minutes late to an interview or whatever, but his lecture. Yeah, he can show up 20 minutes late to his tutorial. He doesn't give a shit. He can go in. He doesn't need to have any of the work done, like Oliver says. Can't wait to read your essay, because he just does not give a shit. He doesn't need it,
I mean,
because he knows that they're all like the Cattons are gonna pay.
Yeah.
So he lives this dependent lifestyle. But jeez, bless me. Whoa. Anyway, he lives this dependent lifestyle on Felix, and you can see Oliver's coming into the mix now. He's becoming good friends with Felix. You can fairly, I'm sure, can already tell that his position in Felix's life is being overtaken by Oliver. You can see it slowly happen. You can see Farley in the background looking at Oliver with like this disdain. And he's like, well, he's taking my fucking spot. I should be doing that because I need his money. And this really takes over when Oliver gets to go off the Saltburn. Of course, he manipulates his way into going to Saltburn by saying his dad is dead and his mother's a drug addict and can barely stand up, and his dad's an alcoholic. But like, we'll get onto that later. Farley can clearly tell that Oliver, is trying to fill the suit, as they show earlier on. Earlier on, before Saltburn, I should say. With him pulling at the sleeves, and he's like, "Oh, I can tell it's rented." Trying to insinuate, his time is limited. His time as Felix's friend is limited. He doesn't have much time with him left. The suit is rented. He won't be able to live this lifestyle he's living for long. Farley's suit, however, is fine pressed. It's slim fit. Everything fits him perfectly because he's so used to his life, and he knows that he will never be taken out of it until Oliver comes along into Saltburn. And you can see Oliver dropping the first hints at getting rid of Farley. Like when they're sitting on the beds and Farley went off and told Felix about Oliver and Venetia. Like doing what they did outside the gardens. And Farley is no stranger to the likes of Oliver's. Like the Olivers coming into the mix. You can tell he was used to it when he saw Oliver and Venetia, and he was like, "Oh, Oliver, I thought you were smarter than that." Venetia clearly acting as almost like a nymph, acting
she
as
is very much so. She definitely does that with every single we know the last Oliver basically got with Venetia, and probably every Oliver got with her. Do you know what I mean?
I think she is supposed to act as the nymph in this situation, which we will talk about later. But it does lean heavily into mythology people. So I do believe she is supposed to be the nymph. She will allure people in, and she will try to get with them, much to the disdain of the house and the family, and then they'll be kicked out, and that's just how it goes every summer. They even said it while the family are watching Superbad. It's like, "Oh, Oliver, Venetia's gonna love you. Venetia's gonna love you." She's been like, I forget.
When you walk in, and she's sitting there, and she's looking at him, and she's just biting her lip and everything. He's just like, "What?"
Yeah, no, she stares him up and down, looking up and down, almost I don't know, she's sizing him up.
Like prey.
Yeah, literally prey. She's like, "Yep, this won't take long," kind of thing.
This guy right here, he's mine. I do.
And they do talk about it later on. They talk about, Felix doesn't like to share his toys, so she just sees him as a toy as well. Which is very funny.
Which is funny, yeah, exactly, because she'd say, because it's like she's trying to act like she isn't, but she's just they're all just using him to an extent.
Yeah. Eventually, he becomes used to being the toy, which we will talk about this later. We will talk about this later. We have to finish.
Let's finish off with Farley. Let's finish off with Farley. I just want to wait. So at the end, he gets outcast and he comes back. He sneaks back into the party.
No. So at first, he gets outcasted because Oliver realizes he has to get rid of Farley if he wants to get close to Felix. If he wants to become the confidant, the conciliary, he has to get rid of him. So he goes, "Okay, the best way to get rid of Farley is to use the knowledge I have of Saltburn and to try pin him for, a crime. He pins him for a crime. He calls Sosa Mogus, he calls imposter, he calls the emergency meeting, he says, Farley is sus. He's after trying to steal something from the house.
Which is kind of true.
Which is true, because it all lines up as well, because Oliver laid the idea in Felix's head that Farley's just using them for the money. Farley kind of proves this by saying, like, is it because I'm coloured? And Felix was like, no, of course not. Completely, like, ruining Farley's, like, image in Felix's head, because it's like, he really is just using me for the money. Oliver is right. So then after that, when Felix realizes he's not going to get any money, of course it would be, like, within his right mind to try to steal and sell something, because it's all choices. Oliver recognizes this. He recognizes his perfect alibi and the perfect reason to get rid of Farley, and it works for a time being, until eventually at the party he comes back, and we technically don't know if Farley's invited.
I feel like I feel like it's assumed that he snuck in because he's in a costume, and immediately he asks, like, "How did you get here?"
So, what happens is we see him with the horse head on at the party, and Oliver instantly recognizes him because of the signet ring he has on. Freddie goes, you know everything, don't you? You're so perceptive. They have the whole conversation, and Oliver goes, what are you doing here? And Freddie goes, well, I was invited.
Sorry. I just remembered the thing. Yeah. So, yeah, he brings the drugs, he gets invited, then Felix dies, and then he gets thrown out, because Oliver reveals that Farley brought the drugs.
Yep. Not that he just brought the drugs. He supplied the drugs, and he was caught doing them that night as well. Like, he had it on him that night.
I guess it's not really a new set, but it is. Look, if they'd ever do a Saltburn sequel, it'd be fucking Farley and Oscar round 2, because, he's still out there.
Farley and Oscar?
Oliver, sorry.
Oh, no, I was thinking Oscar. I was like, I don't remember Oscar in this movie. No, I don't believe there will be a Saltburn sequel.
I just...
that's what I was saying that earlier on. I was like, there's only, like, one character they could do,
Yeah.
And that would be Farley, but I don't ever see them doing that. There's no market success in Saltburn. Never mind a fucking Farley movie.
Look, let's speed this up a bit. So, you want to talk about Elspeth next?
Elspeth next, yes.
Just quickly.
Elspeth next. So Elspeth's character is seen as a snakish woman. She is a snakish woman. One would consider her Medusa in this stage. Goss Queen, whoever she sets her eyes on turns to stone, and secretly behind their back, she talks all the shit she wants. She's very two-faced. She's very conniving. She's very, like, what would you say, like, distasteful. Like, she would openly mock you to your face, but make it look like she's your friend. She's very much, like you said, Goss Queen. We see that through our friend Pamela. Pamela is treated as, as
a clown. She's treated as a clown, and she's kind of dressed up as a clown,
Yeah. Oh, she has impeccable style.
Yeah.
And we can see Pamela looks stupid.
Yeah, she looks like a weirdo.
She looks stupid, and it's like, but she has the most terrific style. She has this, she has that. And you're thinking, she has the most terrific style for a clown. That's who she is for Elspeth. She's a source of entertainment. All of her gossip, all of her, like, male, they call her, like, male companions in the movie. Like, all of her male companions were most likely fabrications just to keep Elspeth happy.
Oh, yeah.
She was the jester. She was dancing for Elspeth's entertainment. All of her stories, everything, just to keep her in Saltburn a little longer.
I think it's interesting because she puts it that front, and at the same time, Elspeth will claim, they're bored of them, they need her to go,
Yep.
And then eventually their father drives her away one morning, and then Pamela turns up dead, and they're like, not surprised.
As if it's nothing new. That's the way they treat Pamela's character. As if this is nothing new and this is quite common. Which, I don't know whether they are trying to highlight the... Like, what would you say, like the...
I think it's the more toy nature, where it seems like nearly every character is looking for like a little toy to each other. Like it's like Felix, 'cause, like Elspeth is like the leader of the household. Genuinely, she's the leader of the clan.
She is, yeah.
And
She is the bigger head.
and Felix is almost like he's the heir, so he's like her. He has his own toy, which is Farley, and now he has Oliver, and they're all kind of trying to emulate her in a way. Even though he finds her weird, he finds her this and that, but they all kind of act her in a way since they're her children. They're all kind of duplicitous and two-faced.
Oh no, they all are, because you can remember Felix when he's walking through the campus with his girlfriend. I believe her name is Victoria. I can't remember.
I don't know. I remember.
Yeah, just the what you call it, the orange haired girl. The orange haired girl who Oliver almost gets with, and she says, "Oh, will this make Felix jealous?" And Oliver's like, "No, he won't even care. He won't even give a shit." And she was like, "Oh, fuck this."
He's like, yeah, it was so funny.
Like he dropped the bag. He dropped the ball.
He funneled the bag like I've never seen before.
And then you could see all the puke on the window. He literally drank the full bottle. He was like, "I will never be better than Felix. I'll never get one up." That was he got cooked by Felix. Could have cooked him, and he didn't even give a shit.
He got cooked by himself.
He literally cooked himself.
Oh.
Alright, anyway, we continue on. What were we saying? We were talking about
We were talking about how Rosamund Pike and how basically she becomes dependent on Oliver throughout.
Oh, yes. So this all starts with Elspeth starting to feel the withdrawals almost. The withdrawals of not having her toy there, and she's like, oh, Pamela's not here.
She needs someone to confide in. She needs a friend. Like, at the end of the day, we're social creatures, and we need someone.
And then it was actually Oliver's character who goes, "Well, I would be jealous too if I had a mother like you." And she goes, "Well, what do you mean by that?" He's like, "Well, you're so fucking beautiful."
Ultimate Riz.
The Rizzler Oliver strikes again.
Yeah.
And this becomes very important later, folks. This becomes very important later when we realise this is the start of their affair. This is seen as the start of their affair, and we don't actually learn about it until the very end of the movie that they were sleeping together the whole time, and that it's like a known thing.
Alluded to.
This whole thing was the starting of their affair. Well, no, it's confirmed. It's confirmed.
Alluded to.
It's fucking confirmed.
Alluded to.
It's confirmed. He literally says. We've had this conversation.
Alluded to, never confirmed, never. I don't know. I believe it, but they still alluded. You cannot say they're like, oh yeah, 100%. Let's go slam me ham.
Huh. The movie alluded to a lot of things which you need in order to produce the teams on the main thing.
It's not on the wiki. It's not on the wiki.
If it's not on the wiki, it's not true.
I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm not. It was alluded to. You can't say they concretely showed it because they didn't. They hinted at it.
Right. I can't concretely say they had an affair, but they did have a relationship once all the family died.
Yeah.
Can I say that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Right, that is correct then. And then she did also say the coast is clear now.
Mm-hmm.
I can also say that is correct.
Mm. I mean, you can say that like that we believe they had a relationship, but the movie never outward showed us. You know.
Okay.
Like we both believe. By the way, like me saying this, I do believe that at some point Oliver started sexually pleasuring because Elspeth, like he did with nearly every character, like he did with Farley, like he did with the sister. And like he tried to do a Felix, and couldn't.
And I think that's the reason why he kills off Felix. But we'll talk about this later. Let's get back to Elspeth's character. So he starts flirting with Elspeth, and she doesn't realize this. Like I think she's kind of oblivious, and it's almost 100%. She reacts as if she's never been flirted with before. And I think this comes into the whole. Elspeth as a character has never been manipulated before.
Yeah.
She comes from a super rich family. She's hung around with pop stars and rock stars, and she's done this, that, and the other, and they all just thought she was so bland and she was so flavorless because she isn't necessarily a person. She's more like if money could talk, that would be the way money would talk. That's how Elspeth as a character acts. She acts very like oblivious to the world. She's very like cut off from everything. She always had her life set out for her. She just knew she was going to be rich, and she is.
Yeah.
And she acts as though like she doesn't actually have any personality. She revolves around the personality of like others.
Yeah.
In order to get by, she needs the likes of Pamela's. She needs the likes of these dinner parties and parties in general, which she never actually gets to interact with people at because she's always too busy. Like what as she says, running around. But what is she running around doing? She has waiters and butlers and all this.
Yeah.
She's running around getting the personality of other people. Like she is, well, like she is like I don't know, a vanilla character. Like she is like a bland character.
Right. Well, not that. Like a.
Well, like as
No,
in like
yeah.
she doesn't like show any. What would you call it? Like intuitive thinking of her
She's
own.
not
She
interesting.
doesn't have
Like,
any.
she wouldn't be an interesting person to interact with. Let's say that. But she's not a bland character. Like she's a very good character.
Oh, she's a very good character and she serves her purpose well in the movie. But what I'm saying is she relies on the stories of others. She does not have stories of her own.
No,
the best way to describe
and she can't really make stories of her own.
Yeah, that is true as well.
I do think I think Elsie's character is really good. I mean, she's the center.
I think
like obviously Felix and Oliver are the centerpiece. But I feel like Elspeth's kind of the hidden boss almost.
well, Elspeth is, like we said, the figurehead of the house. She is the one which Oliver realizes at the end. She is the one he needs to knock off now.
Yeah.
One more off the list, she is the last one, and it makes sense for her to be the last one alive. She is the captain goes down with the ship. She is the figurehead of the house, so she is the final boss. And you can see that in the movie as well. Everything is controlled by her.
Oh yeah, I mean the suits, the dinners, the lunches, like it's all what Elspeth wants.
Yeah, it's like my mother likes to have dinners and suits. Like I have this old what was it? It was like a school suit or whatever.
It was cool.
An old school jacket, but it's because Elspeth likes it.
Yeah.
Everything is to Elspeth's tastes. Everything is to how she imagines it. The party is to how she imagines it. Like the cake, everything is the way it should be in Elspeth's mind. Like she is the final boss. And eventually, we come to see in the coffee shop that Oliver has had like his sights set on her for a while. Like throughout the I forget the name of the word, but like the clip they showed. Almost like flashbacks. The flashbacks they showed of Oliver planning out everything. And they showed that he planned the coffee shop interaction. He wasn't actually doing any work in there. He just wanted to meet up with Elspeth because he knew she would be there. And they show off that there's a potential for them having a long-standing affair.
And Elspeth is also the name Elspeth is chosen by God.
Jesus Christ.
Which is typical because that's how she imagines herself. Very fun.
Actually, look up before we get into Venetia's character. Look up Venetia's character.
The name.
Yeah, look up what the name meaning.
Well, it's about Venice, so it's just like Venice. City of Canals. Venetia, because it's like a different form of Venice.
Yeah, isn't it kind of ironic how Venetia dies within a bath and she dies in water?
In a tub. Well,
That is quite ironic. Wait, as one could say, canals in her arms, it's kind of...
Yeah.
That is ironic.
You want to move on
anyway,
to Venetia?
I believe we quickly addressed the dad first.
Yeah, I really have nothing to say about him.
See, the only thing I can say about him is that he is the perception of Oliver's mental degradation, to the family. He has broken them completely.
Yeah.
And he has broken them to the sense that the father, who was a completely oblivious, happy-go-lucky character, a
Yeah.
character who went from, oh, I get to wear my shining armor, like a goon. He has no thought perception. He has no sense of empathy. He has no sense of anything. He's a man who is so rich. He has no worries. He worries for the hydrangeas. He worries for nothing except Elspeth's desires. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He has no reason to care. He can buy all the most priceless art, all the Van Goghs, or all the he has Shakespeare's collection. Has he is the ultra rich mindset. He just he cares for nothing anymore. He wants for nothing. He has what he needs.
Yeah. At the end, he actually shook.
Because he lost the one thing which he never thought he would, and that is the mental degradation. He finally degrades down. He wants to live within the fancy world which was created, which Saltburn was created for, and he realizes that life in Saltburn, because of Oliver's, is not permanent. That's for it's changing, it's rapidly evolving, it's being destroyed around them, it's quite literally being burnt. The life he once knew was killed. Life within the maze is gone. And he comes to terms with reality and he breaks down. The red ambience around them shows the danger. They can never truly close the blinds because
That was also a very funny scene.
Yeah, no, your man's struggling to close the blinds because he can't shut himself off from reality anymore.
Yeah.
His son is dead. I like that scene.
Yeah,
And
it was a very good scene.
his fight for normalcy is, I believe, lunch is ready. His quiet call back to Saltburn. And he realizes he won't be able to see his son again. They talk about how his name, his middle name is River. They talk about the font and the gravestone, and he just realizes that, his son is dead. Nothing will be as it was. And finally we see him fully broken when he's trying to ask Oliver to leave his house.
Yeah.
And Oliver just refuses to leave.
Yeah.
He realizes Oliver's stake within the family, and I believe he realizes Oliver's failed intentions.
Oh, I think he looks at Oliver and he's like, this is it's over if he stays any longer.
Yeah.
And especially
he looked
Elspeth's reliance upon him.
He looked at Oliver when he was like, but Elspeth needs me, and it's whatever Elspeth wants. And you can see the look of horror on the father's face. He's like, oh God, what have I done to let you here? To give you this stake within my wife's life. And you could tell the way Elspeth was able to completely get over his death, was able to get over all this, that he probably never recovered. They probably, as a couple, never recovered.
No.
And he probably realized that there was nothing he could do to bring her back. She was probably gone at that stage, romantically, whatever their relationship was, which I don't actually believe was a relationship. It was just more a standing of characters.
Yeah, it's more like a regal what's the word? Yeah, like a regal marriage where where they're just appointed, husband and wife rather than romantically met each other. But yeah, let's move on because we've still got a couple of characters to go.
Yep. I believe Venetia character we should do next.
Yeah.
And we only have 3 characters left, man.
Yeah, but they're all big characters.
That is true. But Venetia's character is, like I said earlier on, she is the nymph.
Yeah.
Within this, what one would describe as the classic themes of mythology, which is used throughout the movie. She is what one would describe as the nymph. She is the alluring, mysterious sister of the beloved Felix. And she has been shown to try seduce any visitors who come into Saltburn.
Successfully.
To try it. but which she has done successfully to a
Yeah.
lot of people. Almost acting as a siren when in the night, which they do show in the movie.
Yeah.
A siren who Oliver does answer to, and he does,
Go
well, of
down.
course, do things with the fact that she walks around in a see-through night dress,
Yeah.
beckoning, standing just below the window, looking up at Oliver, waiting for him to come down. She is like a siren within the night. She is the one calling, alluring people, pulling people out towards the gardens and towards the maze of Saltburn, sucking them in, and either chewing them up, getting them back out, with them leaving, or them being further enthralled. It's her, almost like her job.
Yeah.
When in like this crazy house, she is the seductress. She is like the person who will make people stay in Saltburn for the physical means.
Yeah.
And her character is very interesting in the sense that we can also see that she like hovers around the light of Felix. He is the golden child. He is the prodigal son. He is, what people desire most.
I mean, they all like as the mom organizes them. Felix does everything that Oliver, Farley, and Venetia do. It's just whatever Felix wants, and they just follow him. You know.
Yeah, they're chilling out.
And the
Like they're
activities.
chilling. They're chilling out in the hay because Felix wants to chill out in the
Yeah,
hay.
pool because Felix wants pool. You know.
And one has to question whether the relationship, or whether like the relationship she had in her head of Felix was slightly incestuous in nature.
Yeah.
I think we have to get onto that for Venetia's character. She is shown to have a deep, deep love for her brother, which of course everyone has for their
But she
siblings.
also has a lot of mental problems, issues with self, with her own image, and with
Yeah.
eating disorders, which she currently has, when she repeatedly makes herself throw up after dinners, which her family really they shame her basically, which makes it even worse, you know. So from that point, it is a bit tragic. But you are right. In certain scene where Oliver is emulating Felix when his aftershave, she does.
She does kiss him,
Yeah.
and this is after, folks. I have to elaborate this now. This is after realizing it's Felix's
Oh yeah,
aftershave.
yeah. And she
And she,
after saying, Oliver, you this, you that, it's all your fault. You're the moth to our flame, and still go does it. You know.
still does it. But I think that truly shows, like, of course, her mental degradation, but it truly shows how fucked she is.
Yeah, no, she's probably the most outwardly fucked character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, her and the father truly show like the effects
Yeah.
Oliver's had on the family. Elspeth and Farley don't necessarily show them as characters because Elspeth is the last to die, and she, is seen in the medical bed.
Yeah.
But for Venetia's character, you can see her. She's at the dinner table. She can't process reality. She's pouring the wine. She keeps on pouring and pouring. She's pouring it into the water as well.
Yeah.
But in Saltburn, you can no longer turn water to wine. You can only dilute it. And you could say that's because Jesus is dead. Felix is dead. The Savior is gone. And he ain't coming back. Life will never be as it was. All that is left is his followers. I didn't even think of that as a team, but that's pretty good.
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
You're cooking. The problem is all the followers die or kill themselves. Venetia, of course.
That is technically how it went in the Bible as well. Once Jesus died, his
Did
followers rejoiced once more. Jesus was back, and
they kill themselves?
no, they don't kill themselves. Jesus Christ! No, only Venetia does that. Only Venetia does that. Spoiler warning. But
after everything you said, yeah.
We won't talk about the Bible now. Let's get back to Venetia here. So, as we were saying, Venetia, and I'd like to point out as well a very important line. Before she kisses Oliver, what is the last line she says? You're probably even wearing his boxers.
Yeah, which he probably is.
Slightly suggestive in nature. For him, like for her to be thinking about, a private matter as like wearing underwear. You have to be wearing Felix's underwear. The fact that it kind of like ties together with her and the bat, especially. I believe that like you have to remember like some people can remember. Of course, I think people find it hard to forget the bat scene. Barry Keoghan's face in the murky waters.
Oh Jesus!
But I do find it ironic that the place of Felix's lovemaking, the place of Felix's, pleasure, is where she dies. One like within his bath as well, also weird. Because you can see Barry Keoghan's character Oliver, you can see him walking through the same door, the usual door he walks through. So she is lying within his bathtub, the place where he used to pleasure himself, which she could have known about. She smells his aftershave. She thinks about his underwear, and then she goes ahead and kisses Oliver. Thus realizing that Felix is permanently gone, and she decides to kill herself with the razors, which Oliver has left for.
Oh yeah, which further shown his, mental side and also his nature to corrupt them all and take over Saltburn. Alright, let's hit Felix.
I was actually going to say let's hit Oliver now.
Alright.
I was going to say hit Oliver because we could hit Felix first.
I mean, if we want to be really thematic, we hit Oliver, and because it all leads back to Felix.
That's what I was just about to think. Like, that was my thought process anyway.
See, we say that. But then at the end, Oliver's like, oh, but I want to kill you all, so it kind of all leads back to Oliver, which I don't like. But anyway, let's do Oliver. Oliver, I mean, Barry Keoghan.
We kind of described Oliver through like what we were talking about earlier on, but yeah, continue on.
Barry Keoghan, fucking being Barry Keoghan, big nose weirdo. No, Oliver is obviously a very, very duplicitous character, which you mentioned at one point, I don't know on the podcast, but that he has almost like he has split personality disorder, where you see the shy, meek Oliver, and then we see the more confident, psychopathic Oliver, which appears at the end, and it's hard to distinguish which version existed. Did any of them? Were both of them real or not? But I think Oliver's obviously a great character. He's the center point in the movie. We see basically everything through him, and so he is. See, they say he's an unreliable narrator, but can you think of any moments where he is unreliable?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say Oliver's an unreliable narrator. I would argue that it's more we see everything from Oliver's perception, but his perception is so warped from staying off Saltburn and from being mentally ill that he acts as an unreliable narrator. We can't read between the lines in this sense because we, as an audience, are brought through with Oliver's experiences. We believe that Oliver is in the right. He is innocent.
Well, we only believe that to a certain point because Oliver.
Yeah, to a certain point, of course.
To like halfway through the movie, basically, there's I'm not even talking about like the last third when Oliver goes crazy. I'm talking like halfway through the movie when Oliver starts indulging in everything with everyone. When he fully absorbs himself. When he tells Elspeth that he finds her beautiful. When he starts going down on Venetia. When he starts licking the tubs that that fucking Felix has been wanking off him. When he starts fucking with Farley mentally. But we know he's not impervious. He's not a perfect character, which is nice to see. Like during the whole party scene, when Farley makes him sing the Rent song, that was very.
Nice. Yes, that was bad.
That's brutal. Like you're watching that, and like you're laughing, and then like all the family members start to like their smile just die, and you're kind of like, huh? And then he's like, oh, I love you. You pay my rent, and it's just like, oh Jesus.
I actually listened to the song as well. It's actually not a bad song.
Well, R.E.M. are good.
Yeah, R.E.M.
They should play Losing My Religion.
I love you. You pay my rent, and he gets Farley to come up and sing the second
I mean,
half.
and
Farley,
Fry doesn't care.
yeah,
Cause he,
Farley
cause,
does not give a
cause,
shit. He knows the song.
uh,
That's what I like as well.
uh,
Oliver does not know the song. He does not know about this life, and
uh.
secretly they're just paying his rent. He acts as the jester.
Oh wait, it's
While singing.
Pet Shop Boys, not R.E.M.
Yeah, Pet Shop Boys. I was thinking REM. I was like REM,
Yeah, whatever. They're very similar.
but as I was saying, like he's not used to acting as the jester. Faraday is. Faraday fully exhibits the character. He will be what you need him to be.
Mm.
And after that, he sings the second verse before, eventually getting kicked out. Well, as I was saying, with Oliver's character, I believe he has some sort of like split personality disorder, or what was it, borderline personality disorder, BPD, or something along the lines of that, because he almost goes through like a metamorphosis within the movie. You see like weak, feeble Barry Keoghan. You see him as Oliver. He's nerdy. He's outcast. He's hanging around with this weirdo, and he can't break out. Eventually, leading to him, puncturing Felix's wheel, and trying to befriend him to eventually becoming one of his close mates. And this is like the second phase of Oliver. He's close with Felix now. He's smoking. He's enjoying his time with him. They're in college, and he realizes the only way to actually keep Felix is to lie. And one could argue this is like his process from going from like the caterpillar to the butterfly or to the moth. So you can see he's starting to like sink a few lies in. He's trying to keep Felix on his side. He doesn't want Felix getting bored.
A few lies in. A few.
No. Bear in mind, he only stinks one or two lies in.
The parent lie, bro. The parent lie's huge.
No. Up until Felix kicks him out of the room when it's too hot. That's when everything changes. So he's sneaking one or two lies in, like how they met and all that.
Look, once again, I know what you're talking about. I know I mention this all the time. But they didn't tell us that from the start. When he saw Felix, he saw him as prey. And now we're describing these scenes where he changes, which obviously the movie shows. But I still like that in the back of my head. I'm constantly thinking, like, about that line. And how this undermines almost nearly all this analysis that we do. Because, he changes after he gets kicked out of the room. Rightfully so, like the movie shows. But then he says that he saw him as prey at the end. So did he really change, or was he always like this?
You have to remember that.
Did he just say that?
A completely different way of going around it. Like, he probably had a completely different way of going around it. Like, if you remember, he shows, like, vulnerability when he says that he doesn't have money to pay for the Jaeger bombs.
Yeah.
And Felix comes up and he says, "Oh, I got this, buddy. Don't worry about this. You dropped your 20 over there. Let me get this one." Even though he had money in the wallet, as the flashback suggests.
Well, I guess that shows that he is manipulating.
Yeah, he's lying at the start, but he's only sinking one or two lies in. The real lies, the lies with the drug addict family and all the family problems, and he lives in a shithole, and he doesn't want to go home, the filth, the dirt, everything. That all kicks in once he realizes that he is expendable. Once he realizes that he doesn't actually have Felix where he wants him. He thought, their best buddies are hanging out all the time. He's this, that, and the other. He's sitting in the room. It's sweating. They're not getting their study done. They have papers due. He's sitting there with Felix. And, he's like, "You gotta clean this room, and it's a mess. It's a mess." Trying to show that Felix needs him. He's trying to manipulate him more. It's like, "I will clean your room for you. This is what it's like to be rich. I'll do this for you." So Felix will be like, "Oh, thank you, like Oliver. Oh, I need you." This backfires on Oliver, and Felix gets pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's after this moment where Felix decides to say, "My father died." He comes to Felix and he said, "My dad died. What do I do?"
Mm-hmm.
And in this sense, you can say Oliver's an unreliable narrator, because he picks up the phone from his mother. He goes, "Hello, Mum." And immediately you see him at Felix's room, and he's crying. He's like, "What's wrong, buddy? What's after happening? My dad's after dying." Cracked his head in the concrete. That's when I believe we see like the final form. Barry Keoghan's character.
Well, not the final form.
Well, not the final form, but pretty much there. Like, he knew what he wanted at that stage, and that he wanted Felix. Eventually, his love for Felix changed into an obsession with Felix, which changed into, final form Oliver in the movie, which is he wants Saltburn. That's not just with Felix itself; it's with living this life. That's what he wants, and that's symbolized in the movie by the tree-facing mirror.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the 3 different stages of the movie, all combined into one. And on the right-hand side is dark and ominous and threatening. You can see Jacob Elordi's face within the 3 mirrors is all completely changed. He's there hulking over, he's hunching over, almost changing, he's almost like breaking out of his skin.
Almost like the scene with James McAvoy in Split, where when he turns into the monster, the beast.
He turns into the beast, you see the back muscles, they're flaring up, he's tensing, and then eventually he raises his head, he's like, I know what I must do. And that's when he decides to kill each character. And he does this successfully. Nobody catches him. The will of Saltburn is passed on to him, and we see him do the Nikki Tango within the halls of the house. Finally leaving the movie with all 4 stones along the box, saying, playing with the catons. And you see the catons, each signified by one of the little stick figures within the box, dancing for Oliver's, dancing to his tune and dancing for his pleasure. And that's how the movie ends.
And now we talk about Felix.
The first scenes, or the first character other than our narrator, Oliver, is Felix. He is shown in like a snapshot form. He is shown as picture form, as like a flashback almost. Oliver is looking back on all of the greatest moments he's had within college or within this time era which he's talking about, and it's Felix. It's all just Felix. And they almost show Felix in like an angelic form.
The whole movie they portray him in the angelic form. They shot him smoking outside of the window with the god rays going through him. That's very that's pretty iconic. But the whole movie, he is, as you mentioned, Jesus Christ, the chosen boy, the golden boy. He is that man. And we need to mention the sexualization of the movie, especially Felix. The whole movie, he is obviously he's a good-looking guy and he's tall, but the whole movie, it's on purpose, obviously. He is always shirtless, so he's always wearing something tight, and everyone is sexualizing him.
Not necessarily. He does wear baggy clothes as well, but he wears like baggy shirts.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying every second, but
the shirts are always buttoned down. They're always like open. He's very exposed in the movie.
Most of the time, when they're outside, they go to the haystack and they sit there naked for no reason other than seeing each other's penises. And then they go to the beach. It's just they're always flashing, And he's always almost striking a pose in a way, Felix, I guess, I wouldn't say he's a good character, but he is, the most good. Obviously he uses people, he does. But the question is arguing, is he aware of that or no? Does he consciously know that these are his toys, or does he actually think that they're his friends? Or is it on him, even if he doesn't know, that he's still at fault? That doesn't excuse him.
I believe that he doesn't actually realise that people, he knows people want him, he knows he's attractive, he knows all of this stuff. But I believe that he sees, or he tries to see people for the good of them.
I guess, he trusts he is,
Oliver blindly.
He is nearly identical to Dickie in Talented Mr. Ripley.
See, I believe Dickie was a little bit more narcissistic than Oliver.
Yeah, well, Dickie was more narcissistic, but but they're both loved by many people, and people rely on them both financially, physically, and emotionally, and people grow to love them even though they kind of shouldn't. You know what I mean? And they have a cult of personality around them. Everyone has an issue with them, either good or bad. You know what I mean?
See, with Oliver's character, I can't believe you can describe him as like Dickie in this situation. Dickie, bear in mind, you have to remember Tom had to get Dickie's respect. He had to win Dickie over. And that went from like a fondness to an obsession.
Yeah,
As most people
obviously,
did with
obviously they're not the same character. It'd be a pretty bad movie if it was the same character.
Oh no, of course.
That's
Of
what I'm
course.
saying. Like Felix, like to say, Felix is arguably a not bad character. Like he's not a great character. Well, he's like, I don't want to say he's good. I don't want to say he's not like a. He does try and help Oliver. He tries to help him, even when it's all revealed that Oliver has been talking about his family, and he kind of wants to kick him out. He's still very nice about it, you know.
You
So
think he doesn't want to hurt his mother's feelings.
yeah,
Party's already made. He didn't want to do all this, but like he still keeps them there. He could have very well have just said, "Fuck, go fuck yourself. Stay
yeah,
home."
yeah, leave, bye bye. I left him at home.
But no, he brings him back to the house. He lets him have his party, and then says, "Tomorrow morning, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't talk to me that kind of way." And it is funny how Felix at the party is wearing the angel wings.
Yeah,
He is the angel. Like he is angelic in a sense, a higher being,
higher power.
a higher power. Maybe a higher love. But
He's the only
yeah, I feel
power.
like Felix as a character, he's almost shown. Like I hate describing him as Jesus, but like they do show him as like an open to understanding character. He never
almost innocent in a way, you know.
see. We can't necessarily describe him as an innocent character
No,
either.
he's not innocent in the slightest. But it's almost like he tries to give off the impression of his innocent. Obviously, we know he's not, but like people kind of assume he is, and he gives off that vibe. You know what I mean?
He's very trusting towards what like as he would consider his friends. He's very trusting towards his friends. He's very trusting towards Oliver. All of the stuff he was going through, he never actually once doubted it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it came as such a shock for him. Like he wasn't actually able to process it. And within the house he realised, I have to keep up a good impression. Because even though Oliver lied to me, he's still my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in the house, you can almost see him seething with rage, but he's like, I can't do anything here except lie. I can't just tell these people Oliver fucking lied to me. Because he recognises Oliver as a good friend, and he probably wants to be like, well, this is the one and only favour I'll do him now. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a good character. Not to all characters now.
Oh no.
He's bad to what people describe in the movie as his girlfriend. He's bad to her.
He's
seen as a
awful.
woman.
He's awful to his girlfriend. He cheats on her. He's just not good.
She's not seen as his girlfriend though. Like, I don't think she's supposed to be his girlfriend.
I disagree. I don't think we should have this conversation right now on stream.
But one thing I will say is that Felix is shown to have told, well, you know, we're just gonna say for him, is his girlfriend. He is shown to have told his girlfriend to wait at the dorms for him because he wants to talk to her, even though he's in the king's arm.
Yeah, he just lies to her completely.
He lies to her, so, and then she goes, "Is Monica there?" Insinuating that the only reason Felix wanted her to go meet him at the dorms was so that he could go off with Monica.
And let's not forget, Monica shows up again later on in the maze. Not Annabelle, the ginger one.
She does actually. Oh, that's her. Yeah, you're right.
It's not his quote unquote girlfriend. Or the girl that he's openly, hanging out with often and physically getting with,
Yeah. That's interesting.
Penny for your thoughts.
Penny for your thoughts there. But I think we should wrap up with Felix's character.
Yeah.
Felix's character, he is like the cause for obsession. Like he has caused everyone around them to get obsessed with him. His sister, Oliver, Faraday in a certain sense is obsessed with him in a sense that he's obsessed with the power he brings Faraday. He is the item of adoration for his mother and his father, by him being like the final nail in the coffin for like their life in thing, or like the hole within the dam which causes it to eventually break due to the pressure. He is this angelic character who's shown in the flashbacks. He's shown in this like almost rose tinted glass light. He's shown as like the epitome of good in the movie. He is the trusting, the caring, the kind. He is the character who was adored, shown with the angel wings and taken too soon. Dead and can never return to Saltburn, return to the manor. He dies within the maze because he, as a character, was so lost. And he is taken by Oliver. And what one would say as, revenge for his unrequited love. You can see him, he goes up and he tries to kiss Felix. But Felix refuses.
Yeah.
And Oliver then after that gives him the champagne. And gets sick.
So what would you give this movie in total?
This movie, folks, I do believe it is a good movie.
Nanny, wants you downstairs?
Yeah, I'll be down now in a second. I do believe it's a good movie. I don't believe it's an amazing movie.
By the way, be quiet because I'm putting him to sleep.
I don't believe it's an amazing movie, but I do think it's a good movie. It's an enjoyable experience. For all the grotesque, weird stuff which happens in it, it is an enjoyable movie. It's very, one would describe as like a wow factor almost. It's like a whoa. It's like a
wow.
Like it does have the scenes which people talk about, and it is like we haven't even gotten into public perception. It is a very publicly talked about movie.
Once again, it's talked about by a couple of guys, but we cannot ignore that no one saw this.
See, I believe a lot of people. So, folks, like we said,
I just think it's people. Look, I think it's a thing of people in our age demographic watching, people we know watching, and works and social circles watching it. You compare it to Oppenheimer, Barbie. Can't compare. You can't compare it even to fucking Morbius.
No. It does not compare to Oppenheimer or does not compare to Barbie. They were two smash hit successes. They were two major box office.
It doesn't even compare to average successes.
Well, from the looks of it, I feel like a lot of people, like I know people around me have seen the movie because it's on Amazon Prime. It's free, technically.
Free.
Free, like technically, you know what I mean? Like bar subscription costs, it is technically free. For students, Amazon Prime is free.
Sure.
So, of course, a lot of people in our demographic are going to be watching it. Technically, they can get it for free. They can watch it at home, and I feel like a lot of people miss out on the main themes of this movie, and that is like desire and obsession. That is the fact that
I don't think anyone misses out on the desire and obsession theme.
But like, a lot of people miss out on the fact that he changes as a character. That he's supposed to be like almost like this mythical creature. He is both the victim and the villain. He is this, like as they show within the Saltburn maze, the centerpiece of the maze is the Minotaur.
See, but once again, I hate to say this, but this is going to finish off with my take. We say he's the victim and the villain, but then he goes, "Oh, I've been the villain the whole time." He literally says that, and it's like, well, fuck.
Could you say that's the result of his own mental illness?
But the way it's put through the flashbacks, it's not like it's mental illness. They show flashbacks outside of his POV, saying this, saying that. I think it's because it's not a throwaway line. They ham-fisted to us. They literally smack us in the face with that. The movie stops. He says it. Flashbacks. No one's talking. It's all quiet.
But I do believe he does suffer with some sort of like split personality disorder. Like I said, where one side of his personality is working towards his villainous intent, and another side of his personality is just the helpless victim. Like, he's just trying to be friends with Felix. He's in love with Felix. He doesn't know how to convey it to him. He's trying to be his friend. He's trying to do this. But this other side of him is pushing this villainous, this dark approach, when eventually the dark side takes over. Not being like Anakin Skywalker, but like the dark side takes over, he kills the family.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd say this movie's a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. I think that's a little bit low for this movie. I'm going to give this movie... When I first watched it within the cinema, I gave this movie a 9 out of 10. After watching it a second time, I'm fully digesting the movie, fully taking it in.
Just because it's an indie artsy movie doesn't make it any better.
Oh, no. I never held it in that regard. I never held it.
I just want to say that to people, because I feel like people will tend to put these movies very high because over the niche demographic that it appeals to.
That's the thing. I feel like we said earlier on, this is people's almost first introduction to like a fully black comedy movie.
Yeah.
Black comedy as a genre is known to be very, like, I would just say, like, very like provocative, very in your face, very explicit, and a lot of people, especially just casual viewers of movies, like, casual movie viewers will be like, oh my god, like, this is like so out there, this is so wacky, and it is a very outlandish film, don't get me wrong, but the 5 or 6 outlandish scenes can't save a movie. It has to all tie in together, it has to conglomerate with each other. The movie, for as intricately as we've talked about it, doesn't actually present itself in that way for a normal movie viewer. Most people will come out of this movie, you ask them about Saltburn in a year's time, they'll tell you Barry Keoghan's knob was out in it. They'll tell you that he got with Venetia and, said, I'm a vampire too, baby.
Nice,
and like a scene in the bath with the blood in his mouth. It's we saw Jacob Elordi stroking at long dick style.
It was very almost. I know you can say it adds to the character themes, but it was definitely very like set piecey with the whole big sex scenes. Not. It was very like, look at me. It's headline grabbing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It felt very much like a bet you never seen this before.
Exactly, and to me that just knocks it down. Like it just feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth.
I feel like this movie definitely could have dealt with a lot less of these scenes. That's
it needed some of them, but there's way too many.
That's the black comedy sense behind the movie. It would have been more of it. It would have been more of a slow burn, if not. Like, this movie, it sets out to cringe you. The Jacob Elordi bathtub scenes with Barry Keoghan's character watching it, like you feel uneasy watching it.
Yeah, you feel uneasy, but you don't feel tension. Do you know what I mean?
No,
there's no tension at any in the movie, even when they're dying. There's no tension at all.
Like, you see him fucking the grave. You see all this. Like, there's no like stakes behind. Because what's the worst which is going to happen? Jacob Elordi's character leaves Saltburn.
Comes back for the
grave. That is like the detrimental. That is the end of the movie. He leaves Saltburn. That's the only thing which can happen to him. He's not going to die.
Barry Keoghan.
He's not going to kill himself. He kills off the family with no repercussions. There's no tension in this movie. You are right. I believe they could have held it a little bit more high stakes. Could have added like a plot element where he needs to stay in Saltburn.
What do you give it?
I would give this movie, folks, an 8.3 out of 10.
Okay. I can see that. You know my reasons.
We're just checking if you're asleep or not.
But yeah, I'll give this movie an 8.3 out of 10. Yeah. My first viewing of it, I gave it a 9 out of 10. My second viewing of it, I gave it like a 7.9. So I believe an 8.3 kind of averages it out. It's not worth an 8.5.
God, no way.
It's not on the same level as Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 for me.
Well, that's more than 8.5. That shit's a fucking all easy.
I think I put it at an 8.5. It's not on the same level as Dead Reckoning. But it's not on the same level as... What would we put as an 8?
To be real, this movie to me is like Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons I put an 8.
Well then, Dungeons and Dragons is better. Look, my point is, this is a good movie, a really good movie. But it's not a great movie. It's not a movie that I'm like, fuck, I need to see that again.
No. Like, this is not like indie movies such as like American Psycho. This is not on the American Psycho.
No Vacuum for You, no American Psycho, none of that. Like, it's not, I don't feel like I need to watch like budget TVs about it or this or that. I watched like a 10-minute video on it and they just explained everything and I was like, oh, I get all of it now. I'm not saying that it needs to be super complex or confusing, but I do think...
I'm gonna order takeaway now. What do you want?
Maybe don't know.
I know, we're just asking what you want. We're gonna order now.
I do think we should call it. Do you want
Yeah, no. We'll call it now.
So, thanks everyone for listening to Saltburn Ep. Do we have any idea what we're going to do next? We can...
I have no clue, bro. That's a very good question.
Did we talk about Invincible halfway through? I think we did. We talked about... I mean, look, you finished Jujutsu Kaisen. I watched Cowboy Bebop. We can do an anime look. Anime. I mean, look, we can reveal anime is hot shit right now. More popular than it's ever been. It's only gonna get more popular. We can do an episode.
I feel like we have to watch a common one if we are gonna do that.
Well, no, we can do like an anime abroad the same way we did Netflix. The same way we did the Streaming Wars app. We can give our non-weeb... We can give our weeb hater insight into anime, you know? Former weeb haters now becoming weebs.
The progress journey.
Yeah, the downfall or the rise, depending on how you see it.
Like, I'm not going to be jumping too far into it.
Fellas watch the new season of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm not really gonna go too far into it.
That is fucking mainstream. That is mainstream.
It doesn't have a movie as well.
Yes.
Fellas like, yeah, what's your anime movie addition to the show? Very mainstream, you know.
Man, I have to say it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not dissing you. I'm just saying 2 years ago, what would you have said? What would you associate anime with?
No, of course I would have associated it with, you know, certain characters, but like...
And clowns.
Yeah, but that was the character I was talking about. She was a character.
Yeah, but in general, like, even before meeting this certain character.
Yeah, I would have associated with, like, weep shit, but, like, I've never been, like, too stressed about, oh my god, anime's gonna change me forever.
No, that's not my point. I'm saying we got some good takes about anime. Coming from not super hardcore anime people, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, not very true.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see what it is. It could be literally something completely different. It could be FNAF 2 next week.
FNAF 2. FNAF 2 rumors, highlight bloopers, and more.
Alright, see you.